Have you finished your myofunctional therapy training but still don't know how to start your business? Are you tired of waiting for clients, stuck in a job that's become your safety net, or letting perfectionism and fear keep you from taking action? I totally get it, my friend, because I've been there. Hey, if we haven't met, I'm Carmen, a recovering dental hygienist who left burnout and back pain behind to build a $1 million myofunctional therapy practice. But when I started, I had no idea how to get clients or run a business. Nobody taught that part in my program, so I had to figure it out one simple strategy, system, and step at a time, and now I teach others to do the same. If you're ready to turn your training into a profitable, freedom-filled business with clear systems, steady clients, and predictable income, then I invite you to join us inside the Profitable Myofunctional Therapist Facebook community. You'll get tactical tools, real-life strategies, workshops, and support to help you stop overthinking and start growing with confidence. Wherever you're listening, find the link and join us today. Now, back to the show. All right, my friend, if you are trying to start or grow your myofunctional therapy practice and you feel like you're working on all of the wrong things, there's a pretty good chance that you are. So you definitely do not want to be multitasking, and you want to tune into this episode because we're going to be talking about seasons of business and what business skills you should be using during those seasons. And the interesting thing is there's a perfect recipe and there's a way that you should be doing it. If you're a burned out, bored dental hygienist who knows that you can't do this forever, or you've already taken myofunctional therapy training but feel stuck on how to actually start, grow, or simplify your business, welcome, my friend. You're in the right place. I'm Carmen, a dental hygienist who once sat exactly where you are, overworked, physically tired, mentally done, knowing that there had to be more, and wanting the fastest, simplest, most organized path forward with someone holding my hand along the way. This podcast is for women who don't want more information. They want transformation. They want clarity, consistent clients, predictable income without building a business that takes over their life. They also want support while they do it. So if you're ready to stop spinning, start moving, and finally make sense of what comes next, grab your coffee and your courage, my friend. Let's build a business that works for your life, not one that runs it, so that you can build a life that you're genuinely bonkers about, because that's my superpower. All right, friends, happy you're here and welcome back to the episode. I love it when I walk into, first of all, a freezing podcast studio and I just have some chicken scratches, which actually sometimes these are my most favorite episodes because I just take ugly imperfect action, which is one of the core tenets of the programs that I teach. Is you just have to get comfortable with B+ work and take ugly imperfect action. And my friend, I do the same. So we're just going to roll with it here because hopefully I can just read all my chicken scratches. All right, so we're going to be talking about something that I think is going to help a lot of you guys out. I have been having a lot of fun recently coaching students who come into my business coaching program that have taken training from somebody else. So in other words, they didn't do their training in the Myo Masterclass, or they didn't take the Ditch Hygiene Academy. And so I'm finding that it really challenges me as a business coach in such a good, awesome way, because I get to teach them things that they have never heard or implemented before. So, for the students of mine that are in the Ditch Hygiene Academy, they've heard this stuff. They know this stuff. So if one of those students is coming to me and saying, "Hey, I'm not having very good results," they've been taught this stuff. It's generally because they aren't doing the things to get the results that they are after. Okay. But when I'm coaching somebody else, they haven't had that. And so it is always very, very rewarding for me. So these students that I have welcomed into my coaching, they're starting their business. They're pretty disappointed in the outcomes that they're having because, they just want clients. They want a paycheck. That's why they started the business. They want to help people. And also in doing it, they clearly want to make some money. So what I have found interesting with these students is when we start talking about, what's working, what's not working, what they have already done, what were the results of that. What I am finding is that they're basically not doing anything, or they're just like throwing spaghetti at the wall. They don't have a system. They don't know what they should be doing when. So that's what we are going to be talking about in this episode is what you should be doing in which season of your business. Now there's three or four seasons. And the reason I say 3 or 4 seasons is because some people call setup a season, okay? And so we'll talk about setup as a season, planning, building, and then scaling. And in this episode, we are only going to be talking about the first 3 seasons. We are not going to be talking about scaling because, like I said, most of these people are starting their business. They're very early on. So we talk about seasons, and then when I'm coaching somebody on what they should be doing when, we have to consider what season they're in, and then we determine really what business skills they need to have in that season of their business, okay? So these business skills, I like to call them their crowns, okay? It's their business crown, and it's like changing an outfit. Okay, here I'm in my clinical outfit, and then I'm in my client fulfillment outfit. I've got this crown on and that crown on, or your hat, or however you want to look at it. So before we start talking seasons, let me just tell you the 7 different crowns that you're going to need to have and be able to wear in your myofunctional therapy business. So the first one is going to be your clinical crown, okay? That's having your clinical knowledge. That's what these students already have because they have worked with they've studied with somebody else, meaning somebody else has given them the information. So there's the clinical information. And then you have your irresistible offer crown. You've got your marketing crown. You have to know how to sell. So you've got your selling crown. You will have operations of your company. Okay. You will have client fulfillment, and then you will have your CEO crown. So that should be 7: clinical, irresistible offers, marketing, selling, operations, client fulfillment, and CEO. Okay. That's like the big kahuna. All right. So season 1, setup. Okay. So this is really, it's really a short season. Okay. So the crowns that you will be wearing in your setup season is your clinical crown. Okay, you have to get your myofunctional therapy education. So if you already have that, then beautiful, you're ready to move on. If you do not have that, or you're not comfortable with the skills that you already have, my friend, you need to come study with me because I'm going to take care of all of that for you. Not to toot my own horn, but I just want you to have and know that this is an option. Just because you've invested in a different program, if it didn't work for you, it's not going to work for you. So invest in something else so that you can move forward, okay? I have lots of students in my program who have taken other programs, and it is no shade against them. They just didn't deliver or connect with you, or they just didn't do it well enough. So you have that information up there. You just need to help have the help of somebody else to get it all organized for you. Regardless, you got to know. You have to know, have your clinical stuff, okay? Because you're going to be working with clients. So in that setup, you've got to get that knowledge, okay? And be confident with it. And then, so that's your clinical crown. Then you've got your CEO crown, okay? This is where you're going to be getting your business set up. You're going to be getting your business legal. You're going to set up an LLC if that's what you're going to do. So all of those things, mind you, I do walk you through every single step of that inside the Ditch Hygiene Academy, just FYI. But there's plenty of do-it-yourselfers out there that I know that are doing it, and that's totally fine. Remember, I had to figure it out myself. So I just help the Ditch Hygiene Academy students, I just help them do it faster, but you can totally do it on your own. So that's your CEO crown for season 1. You are going to be getting the business set up, okay? You're going to make sure it's legal. You're going to get your insurance. You're going to do your articles of incorporation for your LLC, which, friend, you do not have to pay somebody to do, okay? I know I've had several of my students that say they're waiting. I'm waiting for somebody to get back to me, or I set up an appointment to have somebody do it. You can totally do it. I just did it the other weekend, 2 different LLCs, and it took me maybe an hour for both. I would say probably half an hour for both, and it was like $236 for each one. So super simple. All right, that is setup season. So once you're done with setup season, you're out of it, okay? Now, you may come back to it. All of these seasons you may come back to, but if you're just starting, then this is kind of the progression that we're going to take. So setup season. Next is your planning season. And in your planning season, the whole focus here is to figure out what you're going to sell and who you're going to sell it to. Okay. And so this is where I see a lot of students who come from other programs. They're desperate to make money. And when I ask them, well, what's your offer and who are you selling it to? They have no idea. They just want somebody with a purse and a pulse. And in today's business climate, you really want to narrow that down a little bit more. I know it's difficult when you think about myofunctional therapy because you think, well, the goals of therapy are I'm helping somebody with mouth posture, tongue posture, normalize their swallow and nasal breathe. Okay. And so I can help everybody with that. And technically you can, and you will see outliers, but it is really important in today's business climate to have a little bit more of a narrow niche so that you can get your marketing and your messaging correct. You can speak to that person. If there is a middle-aged woman out there who is really tired, she isn't going to watch reels about misbehaving children, okay? She is going to look for the stuff that is written just directly for her. So one thing that I do think is very important is that you know who that's going to be. Are you going to work with children? Are you not going to work with children? All of that stuff's real important. So in this season, that's what you're going to be doing. You are going to be wearing your irresistible offer crown, and you're going to be figuring out your who, okay? Who that person is that you're going to sell to. That's your ideal customer, okay? Doesn't mean you won't have outliers, but it's your who, okay? It's your main person. And you're going to name her or him. And then you will also be setting up an irresistible offer, okay? Once you know who you're selling to, you're going to be setting that offer up. Now, this isn't just your prices. This is your unique myofunctional experience. If you have heard me before, you know that I don't want you to be comparable just based on price, okay? If somebody's calling around to find out how much a 3-surface filling is, you don't want to be a commodity, okay? You're not corn, you're not wheat. You want to be something significantly different, okay? You want to set up that blue ocean offer, or you want to blue ocean offer in the middle of a red ocean. Okay. I've talked about that in a recent podcast. So that's your offers crown that you are going to be wearing. Okay. The next crown that you're going to be wearing during your planning season is your marketing crown. Now, this is going to be an important step because when you've got that marketing crown on, okay, you've taken the other crown off. You're not working in offers anymore. Now you're thinking about marketing. And the first one that you have to think about as you develop this marketing plan, because that's exactly what you're doing, is which marketing outlet is going to be right for you, okay? think about why you're doing the marketing. I have my students pick one platform, okay? I want you to get good at one thing. The other thing I will tell you is that long form content is going to serve you better in the long run. Long form content is either a podcast, it's a YouTube video, or it's a blog, okay? When you think of social media, you already know this, it's gone within minutes, sometimes seconds. I'm not on TikTok, but reportedly, I have heard that you can post something on TikTok and it might already be gone before somebody has the opportunity to view it. Okay. That is such a waste of time. And especially, in my opinion, in myofunctional therapy, something like a blog or a YouTube video is going to serve you well for a long time. It's also going to help build that know, like, and trust factor and position you as an expert to your audience. So either way, you get to decide what it is that you want to do. And then you, as you're developing this marketing plan, you're going to be thinking about doing everything with what I consider a problem solution format. Okay, here's the problem. They have a pain point. They have a problem. What's the solution that you offer to that? Okay, and with that information, you are going to develop a plan. Okay, because guess what? When we get into the next season, we're going to start building that. So that's a real small list of things that you're going to do in your planning season. But if you're in your planning season, my friend, that's all you're going to be working on. So going back to one of my students recently, her and I were in coaching, and she wanted to get right to like doing something on social media, doing the strategy. And I was like, girlfriend, but we don't even have, we don't even know who your who is. Like, you don't have your prices set up. You don't have your offer, all of that stuff. So this should help you really put the horse blinders on what you should be doing. Okay. So once you've got your setup season done, okay, you're out of there. You are in your planning season. If you've got that done, if you're moving into the business season and you come to me and you start coaching with me and you tell me you're in your building season, then I'm going to say, okay, tell me about your ideal customer, because that will mean that you already have that figured out. And it's not going to be somebody with a purse and a pulse, pinky promise. And you also will have your irresistible offer figured out. So this is going to be your price, your package, all of that stuff. And so help me, Lord, please don't tell me that you're going to charge per session, because I'm going to come over and shake you by your shoulders. Okay, just looking at my notes here. Okay, so then when we get into the building season, this is where things get busy. Okay, so when you're in the building season, there's going to be, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 crowns that you're going to wear. Okay, so the first one, you guessed it, is going to be your marketing crown. My friend, this is when you are implementing the plan that you just created. Okay, you got to implement it, and then you have to get the skills. You have to master the skills to implement the plan. And so what I mean by that is, for example, when I decided to do this podcast, do you think I just woke up one day and knew how to podcast? So far from the truth. Oh my gosh, so far. So I had to get the skills. Yes, I had to spend the money to do that. I will say the same to those of you who are out there thinking, should I hire a business coach? Yes, if you don't have the skills to do what it is you need to do, you need to hire somebody who has those skills so that they can help you. So that's what you're going to be doing when you're wearing your marketing crown, implementing the plan. We didn't just plan it. We didn't just spend all that time. Now we have to put it to practice, okay? And if you have to get skills to do that, then this is when you need to be doing that. If you want to start a YouTube channel and you don't have any skills surrounding a YouTube channel, then you're going to get those, okay? Or you're going to come study with me, because guess what? They're already in the Ditch Hygiene Academy. So that's marketing hat. Next is going to be selling, your selling crown. This is the one that gives everybody the most heartburn. I work with so many students that are just stuck. They're confident in their clinical skills. They are just scared to death to charge somebody for something. Even though they've spent a ton of money getting their own education, they have a hard time selling, okay? So this isn't going to be a creepy thing, okay? We're not going to sound like a used Subaru salesman. You are going to get very comfortable at inviting people to have a conversation with you. You're going to get good at inviting them because you're going to get good at that problem solution format that you use. Okay. Why is mouth breathing a problem? What's the solution? Oh, I can help you with that. Okay. So you're going to, when you're wearing this crown, you're going to be inviting people into a conversation with you where you're going to tell them that you can help them. This is so simple. You just have to do it. And the more you do it, you get better and better. Also, while you have your selling crown on, you have to learn how to figure out how to convert your humans, okay? The first conversion needs to be just having a conversation and then converting, getting them to a free assessment, which in my opinion should be the ultimate goal of every conversation you have. You try and bend that around to get them into a free assessment. And the reason that is because then when they get to that free assessment, you're going to have paperwork, you're going to have information. Second of all, they're going to have showed up. They're going to have showed up and given you their time so that you can educate them and build that know, like, and trust factor. And they're going to see what you know, okay? I always just wanted people to get to that appointment so that I could just wow them with my knowledge. So that's going to be the first conversion. And then you have to convert them from a free assessment into an exam and from an exam into a client. So that is learning. That's why it is so important for you to just get going, because getting you to your first client, that's the prototype, okay? That's just testing. Like, okay, what does it take? Then you're going to do it over and over again to see, this is what it takes. This is how I do. If I do this consistently over and over again, then I'm going to get consistent clients. So when people ask me, how do I get consistent clients and consistent revenue? You got to do this other stuff consistently and get good at it, okay? So that's going to be what you're doing with your selling crown. Next, you've got your client fulfillment crown. So this is when you're actually delivering your services, okay? You have got to over deliver. You have to deliver amazing results, okay? Because that's going to get you more clients. That's free advertising. That's going to get you referrals from doctors. I have doctors reach out to me all the time. Hey, you sent so-and-so in here for a frenectomy and they were so prepared. We were wondering if we can refer more clients to you. And you're like, yes, absolutely. In your client, when you have your client crown on, you're also going to be getting reviews and testimonies from those clients. So guess what? You can use it in your marketing. All right, the next crown, operations. So especially when you're new in your business, you're not spending a lot of time in operations, okay? You ultimately want to be spending your time in marketing, selling, and delivering your services, but operations is going to come into play because you got to build out your systems and set up your standard operating procedures, set up routines, set up autopilot, that kind of stuff. So it takes you a few iterations to get this. For example, when somebody books a comprehensive exam with me, I have it set up on autopilot. So I don't think anything about those people until 15 minutes before their exam. Okay. They get automated notifications that confirm their appointment, that remind them about their appointment, to tell them what they need to do to prepare for their appointment. They go to my website. They have a page where they download the paperwork. They submit it to me. My team gets it in a file. I go to it 15 minutes before the visit and boom, there it is. So those are the things that you do with your operations crown on, okay? But you don't spend a ton of time. What I don't want you doing, my friend, hear me loud and clear when I tell you this. If you're in a building season and you need to be marketing and selling and delivering your services, I don't want you spending all of your free time one week developing standard operating procedures, because until you have done it again and again and again, you won't be able to do that anyhow. You're going to be wasting your time because you're going to have constant iterations. Okay, eventually you're going to get it dialed in like I have, but it's going to be a little bit. So you won't be spending a ton of time there, okay? So in your building season, you're going to be getting the plan going. You're going to set up some systems. And most importantly, I think you have to be getting the skills that you need to do those other things. So let me look at my notes here. Quick pause, my friend. It is such an exciting time over here at the Profitable Myofunctional Therapist headquarters as we are eyebrows deep in the rebrand, bringing everything that we teach and offer under one brand umbrella, under one roof, if you will. So you might be listening and thinking, wow, this episode is just for me, but I'm not sure what my next step is. So right now, your next best step, the best place to start is to book an unstuck session with me. You and I will start this important work together the very first time that we meet. We're going to meet on Zoom and we will get clear on where you're at, what's keeping you stuck, and map your smartest next step so that you're not trying to figure out what you should do, or you're not trying to duct tape everything together. So if you're ready for clarity and momentum, book your Get Unstuck session using the link wherever you're listening to this podcast. Now, let's get back to today's episode. I think that's going to wrap us up. So let's go back and do a little bit. Let's talk about how you're going to spend your time. So once hopefully you have taken some notes, or you can come back and take some notes. Remember, there's 4 seasons, okay? Your setup, your planning, your building, and scaling. Some business trainers will consider the setup and planning to be one season, okay? I like to separate it out because in that setup season, I want you wearing your clinical crown and your CEO crown. And that is just making sure that you're very confident on your clinical skills and then get your business set up. Okay, so that's going to be the legal setup, all of that stuff. Then the planning season, we went over that stuff, the crowns that you're going to be wearing. And let me tell those to you in case you're taking notes again. So that's going to be your irresistible offers crown, your marketing crown, and that's it for that one. Okay. So how do you know what you should be working on? Because that's what I told you at the very beginning is this is going to be a perfect recipe to tell you. So first, where are you at? Okay. What season? What crowns do you need? So we're just going to use building season, okay, as an example. So once you know what season you're in, then you take the amount of time that you have and you have to allot that, okay? So I was just telling you that in the business or in the building season, you're going to have your marketing, your sales, your client fulfillment, and your operations crowns. You are going to be doing, especially if you're just starting, you're going to be doing a ton of marketing, hopefully having a ton of sales conversations. You're going to be doing a little bit of therapy and even less of operations. So that's how I want you planning your time, or that's how I want you. I sound like I'm making demands. That's how I recommend that you spend your time. So when I'm coaching these students and we're trying to determine what they need to be working on, it's very much like following a recipe. Where are you? Okay, here's the skills. Do you have these skills? Nope, I need to get them, or I need to make that investment. Okay, so going back to coaching, if you don't have those skills, you can invest time or money. You can invest your time to go do it yourself, or you can invest money to have somebody else who has already done it help you. Okay. And then, so you're going to do that over and over and over again. Honestly, if you're in the building season, you are spending so much time, like 90% of your time on marketing and sales conversations. Then you're going to have some client fulfillment and a little bit of operations. I call that kind of like back office stuff. And I really try and minimize that to, gosh, I think I do that less than an hour a week. All right, my friend. So I have some homework for you to determine what season you're in and determine what hours you have available. If you tell me you only have Fridays available, and let's say you've got 6 hours that you're doing your business on Fridays and you're in the building season, I would be setting you up to do mostly marketing and sales time, because they do kind of go hand in hand. When you're marketing, you're just inviting people into having that conversation. So you might be doing, they do kind of go hand in hand. So that would be like 90% of your time. It would be, I would say 98% of your time until you actually had clients to be fulfilling therapy to. Okay. And when we talk about marketing, my friends, it's not just willy-nilly deciding what you want to do that day. It's not just seeing that there was some trending reel that looks like fun. I want you to go back to the marketing plan that you had come up with in the planning season. Okay. It is very important when it comes to your marketing that you be able to show up consistently, because if you post and ghost, that almost is more detrimental, because the internet wizards, the algorithm, they just say, oh, Susie Q was here and she offered something helpful and now she's gone, and people have had questions or posted comments and she hasn't answered them. So you don't want to go gung-ho. You want to figure out which avenue is going to be right for you when it comes to marketing. Like, I don't do TikTok. I do a little bit on Instagram. Yes, on YouTube, so you don't want to try and be everywhere. You want to do one platform well, because when you're working on one platform and doing it well, then you can get information that you can look at the results. You can look at your metrics. You can make data-driven decisions based on that rather than just throwing all the spaghetti at the wall. Okay, so if you've got 6 hours on a Friday and you're just starting your business, then you're going to be marketing. Okay? And that's not just posting something on social media. And then what I want you to do is take that time and build out calendar containers. So again, I teach a full program called Total Calendar Control, but think of these as containers. If you put something on your calendar, like for example, let me just give you an example of today. My calendar had podcasting starting at 2 and ending at 4. It is a container. It's like a pitcher. It holds the iced tea in it. It doesn't let it leak all over. Okay. The same with my podcast work. It doesn't leak all over. So I have half an hour left. Am I going to get this done? Am I going to get it edited? Am I going to get all that stuff done? If not, then it's going to have to go into another container, because it can't just run past into something else. And so I'm a big fan of having containers, knowing what you do at that time in that container. Okay. And we'll talk more about calendar containers in the future, because I want to land this plane. So I hope that is helpful, especially if you are finding yourself in a situation of desperation, saying, hey, my business just started. I don't have any clients. I'm not making any money. And also, you have to have a plan. Okay. And it takes time too. So make sure that you are not having that success entitlement, thinking that just because you hung your shingle out that says, hey, I'm open for business, that all the people should come to you. They might not even come find you. It's your responsibility to go to them. And if you have a really good plan, you'll be able to do that. All right, my friend. So there you have it. I've given you some things that you can work on. Um, and you will know. You will know what to do based on what season you are in. So that is a wrap. That's all I have for you today, my friend. Go work on building a life that you are bonkers about. And I will be back next time with some more myofunctional therapy business goodness. I hope you loved today's episode, friend. I pray that it lifted you up, motivated you, and taught you something. If so, would you stop right now and go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review? And lastly, make sure you've joined the Profitable Myofunctional Therapist Facebook community. Links to all the goodies can be found wherever you're listening to this podcast. That's it for now. Cheering you on, my friend, and we'll chat soon.